Hi, my name is Rachel, and today I'm going to teach you how to make your own shirataki noodles. Now, shirataki noodles are low in calorie and they have no carbohydrates. I'm following the Trim Healthy Mama plan, and I'm not at goal weight, but I'm on my way. It's going to be a process, but I'm enjoying it. And the reason that I chose the Trim Healthy Mama plan is I read the book and the science, it just makes sense. I also like how they incorporate God because I feel like science and God go hand in hand. And if you know me, you know that I love science so much that it's my job. I create online courses for homeschool families. So as I go through a recipe with you, if there's a benefit or a reason why you should have this, I'm going to go into it and I'm going to explain it, because if you don't know the benefits, then it's not going to be worth it for you. So let's talk about shirataki noodles. Now, shirataki noodles, the star ingredient of this is glucomannan. And a lot of you might call it glucky, but it is high in fiber. So if you have issues with going regularly to the bathroom, if you have constipation, if you add this to your diet, then it's going to help you to become more regular. It's also a filler. So if you feel like you get hungry all the time, it's going to be in there. It's going to make you feel full for a longer amount of time. Another thing for that, okay, if you're hungry all the time, you really need to check your protein. This is just a side note. This is a tip. So if you're hungry all the time, make sure that with your meal, you are having 20 to 30 grams of protein with your meal, or you're going to be hungry. Now, as I mentioned, it's a fiber, so it's going to make things go. And another side note, you don't need to be having lots of fiber without having water. So fiber goes in. It's also going to absorb the water that you have in your system. And so you don't need to not be drinking water. You want things to flow. You don't want things to stop up. Okay. Those are just side notes. Another amazing thing about glucomannan is that it is known to lower total cholesterol. That means even the bad kind, the LDL kind, it lowers it. Another beautiful thing about glucomannan is that it lowers your blood sugar levels. So if you're eating, hopefully it's good carbohydrates and it's breaking down into sugars, it's going to lower the blood sugar levels that you have in your body. So you don't want to be spiking your blood sugar. Now, if you're like me, you've probably seen these noodles in the produce section. They're in a bag filled with water. And when I first saw them, I was thinking, what is this? Is this like parts of squid? Or then I realized it's from Asia, from the konjac root. And so I'm thinking there's like this amazing process that's been passed down from family to family to be able to make those noodles in the bag. And I realized that's not the case. So a lot of us might even have all the ingredients that we need at home, especially if you followed a couple Trim Healthy Mama recipes. Now, the things that you're going to need for this recipe, I'm going to teach you 2 recipes, and that is the main star, glucomannan, which is glucky, and this is what I have on hand. Okay. Another thing that you're going to need is food grade calcium hydroxide. And you might be thinking, I don't have that. Where do I get that? Well, if you go to your grocery store, you go to a canning section and you see pickling lime, that is the same exact thing. Okay. So you can have this, or you can go to the store and get pickling lime. It's the same thing. With one of the recipes, I'm going to add oat fiber. I'm going to show you both recipes so you can look at them and you can compare and see what you like. Most of all, I want you to learn these and be able to do them at home and learn new things. So I am going to use my blender for this. If you don't have a blender, you can use a whisk and just whisk vigorously until it thickens, and you'll see that. Another thing that I have that you might not have, and it's okay, is I have a pasta press. Now, if you don't have a pasta press, you can just get a Ziploc bag, put this gel into it and cut a corner off and then squeeze it out. Okay, but I have a pasta press. Now, I've learned from trial and error that I like the medium-sized noodles, okay, because they get really big and I don't feel like the texture is right. And these kind of break off into rice noodles, which you might want. My favorite is the medium size whole one. So that is what I will be going with today. Now, what I have too, I have 2 pans boiling water back here because I'm going to have it ready. This just does not take a lot of time. And so I want it to be ready. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Now in my blender, I have 1 cup of water. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to pour ingredients through this hole here. And to help me pour so it gets in better, I'm using this little measuring cup. But what we're going to do, we're going to start with the one that doesn't require oat fiber. So I'm going to get my glucomannan or my glucose, and I'm going to do 1 tablespoon, and I'll stick it in this measuring cup. And then I need 2 teaspoons, which I forgot my teaspoons. Let me grab it. So 2 teaspoons. 1, 2, okay. And now I'm going to get my calcium hydroxide, and I'm going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon. And I'll stick it in the same cup. So just a little science for you. Okay, when we add glucomannan to water, it becomes a gel, but it also becomes acidic. So it's not able to become the thicker gel that we need to make noodles. When we add the calcium hydroxide, it makes it where it's more basic. And so because it makes it more basic, it allows it to form into the thicker gel that we need to make noodles. So that's why we have this calcium hydroxide. You can't make it without it, okay? So I'm going to have this, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to dump it into the blender, and it shouldn't take long for it to mix up, and you'll hear the sound of it change because it will thicken up pretty quickly. Okay, that's the sound that I want to hear. All right, it means it has gelled up really well. So I'll show you the mixture. So I have my end on that I want, the noodle size that I want, and here's the texture. It's kind of like a jelly. All right, I'm gonna put it in here. Just trying to get all this goodness out. I don't want it to go to waste. I want those noodles. So this is gonna allow you, like if your family is like, I want spaghetti, or you want chicken noodle soup because it's cold, or my favorite, pho ga, or some people call it pho ga. It's a Vietnamese soup because it's nice and cold outside. You don't have to go noodleless. You can make it on your own, and it's just not that difficult, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's fabulous. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I'm gonna move the camera over so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll show you how to make these noodles. All right, so I have my press, and I'm just gonna start spinning it. Kind of makes me think of Play-Doh, you know? Okay, so there are the beautiful noodles. I'm going to cut it off about at that size. Look at them. This is all you really have to do. This is the big step. Look at those beautiful noodles. If I didn't have this press, I would just have the Ziploc bag, and I'd be squeezing this out over the water. Okay. So I'm going to let these cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to stir them around just a little bit and let them cook. They're going to change in texture and the color will change a little bit. But let's go back and look at the next recipe for you. Okay, so while those are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and whip up the next recipe. So I need a cup of water. I'm not even going to clean this out because it has a lot of what we're using already. Okay, so I'm going to add a cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on. And I'm going to get my pasta press ready. So I have to just unscrew this. I always forget this step and then I go to press it and it's like, wait, I can't even fill it up because I haven't unscrewed it because it's all the way up, you know. Okay. There we go. I'm going to take this off. Now with this recipe, it's very much the same, but you'll see it's a little bit different. Okay, so I have my cup of water. I'm going to start off with oat fiber. Oat fiber is great. It has total carbohydrates of 26 grams, but the dietary fiber is 26 grams. So this is going to be have no carbohydrates as well because it's dietary fiber. So 2 tablespoons. Now with the calcium hydroxide, I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon. I have my 1/4. I'll just fill it up halfway. That will be nice. Okay, there we go. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add it to this water. I'm going to start blending it, okay? Now that is good. Now we need to add the glucomannan, and it's just going to be a tablespoon. I'm going to go ahead and start my blender. Perfect, okay? Once again, here's my gel mixture, and I'm going to put it into my pasta press. Put this down. So last time I filled it from the other direction, it was easier. Note to self, I was like, why is this hard to hold? And I realized I can't just set it up right like I did the other way. Okay. Now this to me seems a little bit thicker. The texture is just a little bit different. You're getting lots of fiber when you eat this between both the glucomannan and the oat fiber. I'll go ahead and put my favorite pasta size. I'm making this for the noodle press. Okay. And then once again, we'll go over and I'll show you what it's like. Okay, so here is the second batch, the one with the oat fiber, and I'll start turning this. You can see that the color is different, the texture is different. I don't know why, but this is just very satisfying to me. To just see noodles. I love noodles. I'm sure I'll show you lots more noodle recipes. Okay, I'm gonna just do that. I'll let those cook. Let's see how these are. Do you see how they're stiff? They're not breaking when I pull up on them. If they're breaking, they're not ready. So these are nice and stiff, and I can tell they are pretty much ready. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead. I'm going to take this, I'll pour it through a colander, and I'm going to rinse the noodles with water, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here we have the first recipe of noodles. Let me show you. So if they stick together, I like to just take chopsticks, or you could take the end of, I don't know, 2 spoons, something. You're not wanting to break it. You're just separating them a little bit. But so this is the first recipe. Oh, I broke that noodle, but look at that. Okay, let's see if I can get one without breaking it. These are kind of stuck together right here. But look at those beautiful noodles. So if you wanted to go ahead and eat them now, you could just warm them up. A good way to do that is, it's called dry frying. So you have a pan and it's heated up. You dump these in, you stir them around, and as they're being heated up, some of the water is pulled out, so they're even more firm. But look at those beautiful noodles. You could make spaghetti. Like, there's just so much that you could do with these. So this is the first one. I'll check and see how the other noodles are doing, and then you can compare. All right, so I have a different color bowl just so you can see. This is the second group of noodles. This has the oat fiber, okay? And these are sticking together a little bit more. So I am going to twist them up a little bit more. But let's see if I can show you a good noodle. So here are the noodles here. I'm liking these noodles better. Okay, I feel like these break up a little bit more. I might play with the recipe and change it up. But look, that's a great noodle too. So see? I'm dropping it. So there are some amazing noodles just from things that you might have on hand. And it's cheap, it's affordable. And so if you didn't want to eat these right now, all that you would have to do is go get a mason jar, dump it in the mason jar, fill it up with water, stick it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to use it, use it. I would say the max that I would probably have it be in my fridge would be 1 to 2 weeks. These wouldn't last long in my fridge anyways. One more thing that I want to tell you before I go is with your dishes that you have this glucomannan on. Okay, what you want to do is you want some hot water and you want to soak it. And then whenever you're cleaning it out, you want to make sure you have like a strainer that you pour it through. You don't want all this glucomannan in your pipes, okay? So I hope this helps you, and I hope you enjoy it and you have fun coming up with different meals to make with these noodles. And I look forward to sharing the next recipe that I've adapted for you that you can make at home that's affordable and healthy for you.